Good morning, friends. Welcome back. Jeff Allen off the Gridiron, and today in Books, Blades, and Builds, I want to showcase the Tops Brakimo, the Tops Buck 650 Nighthawk. Quick review on the SAS Survival Guide, one of the classics for learning all about bushcraft and survival, and introduce you to one of my DIY twig stoves. Stick around. Hi guys, welcome back. Jeff Allen off the Gridiron. We'll see you in the woods. Okay, good morning, friends. As I said in today's episode of Books, Blades, and Builds, I want to introduce you to a few of my absolute classics. This is one of the first books I picked up in any of the SA series. I know they come in little pocket guides. I think they're really top notch. This was originally written by John Wiseman, and he was a veteran. I want to believe in the Army, but certainly an expert in fieldcraft. 26 years with the SAS, which is Special Air Service, Special Forces. So very, very qualified. This is one of my favorite book series, and I think if you see one of these, you can't go too wrong. The book covers just about everything, and what I really like about this book is the graphics. And sure, there's lots of text, but with text comes that information, that valuable understandings of some of the key topics and areas. There is some color pictures as well. Looking over, this is a quick snapshot through the berries section. Fish and fishing, just about everything. All about knife and hatchet work, structures, cordage, orienteering, first aid. This book just about covers it all. You can't go wrong with this series. One of the first things that I was most interested in, and maybe it was the Boy Scout in me from years past, but certainly beyond the blade craft, is the shelters and shelter building, and this book does a great job sharing that. And additionally, it has a whole section on not only fishing but trapping. So it has some very ingenious fishing methods shared in here, including various set lines and so on, which I had no idea how to create. I just noticed one of the pictures in here was of what's called the otter board, and basically you make a little toy boat and suspend hooks off it and push it offshore. That reminds me of Zachary Fowler in the Alone show. I think he was season 4, where he made something that actually paddled offshore, propelled with the elastic off his slingshot. There is a slingshot section. Again, one of my favorite things as a youth was learning all about traps. Now, yes, many of them are illegal and not to be practiced, certainly in public spaces for sure. As a licensed trapper, I'm not able to use many of these snare techniques based on where I live, but the principles around them was something that I really enjoyed reading about. And you know, we always like to practice for that kind of survival situation and hope we never find ourselves in it. But certainly all the snares is something that I was always drawn to, from simple snares to snares under tension. And I have dabbled with some of these in the sense of creating them to see if they would work and test my skills that way. So this is a highly recommended book. Any of the SA series, if you see one, certainly in a used store, I think it'd be well worth the investment. For blades, as we're on a bit of a survival blade talk, I know in my last episode I was talking about how Morris Kohansky Super, obviously was super qualified. He quite often used the Mora neck knife as his primary. With different locations around the world, different styles of knives have had to suit multi-purpose. So for example, this is a knife made in the US from Tops. This is the Tops Brakimo or Brakimo. Great heavy duty knife. It's about a 3/16, roughly 10 inches overall. It was made by Joe Flowers, and he was the I guess principal instructor of Bushcraft Global, and that is a stamp right on the knife there as well. Bushcraft Global takes people to the Amazon and kind of lives in harmony with some different tribes down there, practicing bushcraft skills and so on. 1095 high carbon steel with the green micarta handles. It's got a divot on both sides for a bow drill. Large oversized hole, and I think that that would be great for perhaps a carabiner for safety. High scanty, kind of almost saber grind. 3/16. It's about 9 ounces, so it's quite a heavy knife. And it's covered with it's a carbon, but it's covered with a green, like a tungsten Cerakote on the blade, which really protects it from the moisture. Sheath is just your kind of basic Kydex sheath, positive lockup, rotating metal, not plastic, but metal clip. So there's no chance of that, of cracking. I know I've heard some people before were walking through the bush, they get their sheath hung up on a branch, and they might shear that plastic one off, kind of modeled yesterday with our Mora, or last video rather, with our Mora. This is the Tops Nighthawk, and this one has been discontinued a number of years ago. I originally, when I started my channel, this was one of the first knives I acquired, and I don't even have a great backstory for where I acquired it. It's certainly on one of my road trips. Very tactical looking. It has this hole here, this elongated hole, which ironically, I wasn't sure what that was, but it's actually for O2 bottles and different utility bottles that you have to turn that dial on the bottles in the field. I'm not sure if that would be something with EMS or whatnot, but kind of a swedge on the back side. That's a false edge. It does have a 90-degree spine down close to the base. Kind of a rubber and nylon composite handle. No jimping, which is something that I've grown to be very fond of. And kind of a high, not quite a hollow grind, but then that convex edge is quite nice. 6.5 inch blade, 420 high carbon steel. Sorry, 420 stainless steel with a black finish on there. And the more time I spend in the field, I'm really appreciating stainless, just for the care and the durability. The sheath has got a nice little pouch up at front. You can always put a multi-tool in there, or sharpening stone, first aid kit, fire kit, whatever you'd like. Leg lanyard on the bottom, or a great just extra dangler storage for perhaps a piece of paracord for doing bull drills or quick shelter, tie-ups, whatnot. Molly compatible on the back. And I've always, again, loved these, where you don't have to take your belt right off your pants, and a great clip on there. This extra little D-ring, this one had very weak zero retention. So with the nylon snap, I included this extra D-ring, this extra ring, and that was able to snap down over top for some added retention. But quite honestly, right now it serves more of a kind of a hanger on my display board. This is not one that gets used too often, because the more I come to understand knives and what I need in a knife, this one is certainly more than plenty. It's quite weighty, being at 9, over 10 ounces with the sheath. But it's a real combination. If you don't have a chopper, and this was partially why it was designed, is to be used as a bit of a machete or chopper, campcraft in the field, when you might have a smaller saw, and then something like this for delimbing and so on. So that's a couple of blades, books, blades, and builds. I'll provide the links below to or above in a card here. But this was a build I made. I constructed it out of cardboard as a template, and I wanted something that would be vertical and also tip over to have what I call a hopper. So this hopper is able to accommodate larger sticks, and it feeds down inside. Because of the weight of some of the longer materials that you would have out here rather than shorter twigs, it might come a little tippy. So for that reason, I put a hole in the bottom and in the side, and you take a standard tent peg or a longer nail and pin it right to the ground. Now, with this being the base and also metal, this is made out of scrap sheet metal. It does get quite hot, and you have to be mindful that whatever it's sitting on will scorch the ground. Certainly catch things on fire that are underneath because of the heat. Sometimes I have a bit of a plate or put rocks underneath it to protect the ground. The grill on the top was I don't even know what it is or where it came from. I think originally it was from some electrical or plumbing, but I just bent it over. It's a heavy-duty stainless grate, and it's been quite durable. And that has been removable because down inside it's of the dimension that I can store my Stanley, not my Stanley cook set. That's a little too big in diameter, but a cook set or at least a drinking vessel that would go down in there, and then it all folds up. Upon starting, this is where you start. You can get the fuel, and you can see in here, and there's lots of holes. And as the fuel gets started in the bottom there, then you rock the hopper open, and that creates that pathway for your sticks to slide down, and it would be a continuous feed. So you're not having to feed a little small twig stove with the smaller sticks. Once it's established, you drop the hopper open. Again, when it's secured to the ground, you can put larger twigs. That's held in there with a nail. You can put your larger twigs down inside, and then with it anchored to the ground, there's no chance for it to tip over, and then it becomes very stable for any of your pots or your cook sets. Obviously a Yeti is not one of them, but that's the principle on how it works. So my next iteration of this, if I were to go into production, is on opposing corners. I would turn them, open it up, and put it on a hinge. So the whole thing would go from that square to press and lay flat. That would be outstanding, and that would be certainly version 2.0. With it being galvanized, I want to point out that it should be, I call it being cooked. So prior to use, heat it up as hot as possible, overfill it, and or put it in a fireplace, and that will cook off some of that galvanizing, which is gives off a bit of a toxin upon first burn. But after that, I've painted it, and it's just been beat around a little bit, but painted it with high heat barbecue paint that sticks to it and protects it, and protects you from any further kind of burn off and smells that way. Okay, thanks for joining me. That was fun. Episode 2, books, blades, and builds. If you have any questions, please reach out in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share, and check that bell notification icon so you can hear when I've got another video uploaded in this series or any other video. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your outdoors. Cheers. Bye for now.